I have been a part of a couple of different collaborations in Texas Fish and Game that we've done just to show you some examples of things that are possible. And this is something that I kind of came up with a couple of years ago when I started selling media full time in the outdoor realm. And it's not just all full time what I do. Obviously, I build websites and do a wide variety of other things. But when I started working for the magazine, I started creating and finding ways to take people's digital dollars in marketing and bringing them into a wide variety of different engagements, if you will. And so we did Big and J and Swagger Bipods did hunting school with us. Texas Fish and Game presents hunting school. We did crossbow school with Excalibur Crossbows, who's owned by Bowtech. And then another Bowtech one is, you can't see it because my video's covering part of it, but the Diamond Archery Bow Fishing 101, which is basically all these were 12 blog posts on one custom landing page through the Texas Fish and Game website at fishgame.com. They were all basically a engagement that we would send 4 email blasts promoting 3 blog posts of the 12 every email blast. So 3 times 4 is 12. 4 blog posts for 3 stories, and they were great. And I came up with the idea to basically do something like we were doing a print feature or a sponsored feature in the magazine, and then a digital feature online. This was just to do digital feature online and to drive content towards the sponsor's website for people to go make a buying decision. And they've worked very well. And it's something I just wanted to showcase. It's something that I partially came up with the help of our editor-in-chief, Chester Moore at Texas Fish and Game. And they work great. I've got another one that I'll turn the recorder over here to. Arctic Ice. We're working on this one right now. We're in the process, as I'm recording this, of building this one out. So this one will be available by the time this goes live. But it's called Staying Cool in the Outdoor on Outdoor Adventures, sponsored by Arctic Ice. And which Arctic Ice is an ice replacement company, and they make the ice packs that you freeze and that stay cold longer than ice and don't leave a mess around them and that kind of stuff. And so that's another program that's going to be 12 blog, I think 8 to 12 blog posts. It's going to be a wide variety of videos, going to be a wide variety of sliders, a very text rich and multimedia rich environment that people can go hang out and read articles and stuff like that. And so those are just some examples of things I've been up to in the last couple of years in special programs and digital engagements that have helped outdoor industry companies reach their audience in new ways by sponsored content. And that's basically what everybody's looking for. That's why I'm making this course so much about sponsored content, because it is so vitally important to me to engage with people, not just to throw it out there and hope it sticks, not just to put a banner ad on a website or a full page ad in a magazine. You want something that's going to stick with people, and that's vitally important in being successful in all this stuff. In this next section, we're going to talk about why the outdoor industry. Why should you care about being successful in the outdoor realm? And the reason is simple. There are more companies, products, and brands in the outdoor industry than ever before. It's fantastic. If you go to SHOT Show ever, or if you go to ICAST, or if you go to, what's the other one, NRA Show, the Houston Fishing Show, the Houston Boat Show, the Summer Houston Boat Show, the Winter Houston Boat Show. I mean, there's so many things that I do around Texas here that every year that I'm traveling a lot, and I'm visiting a lot of people and meeting people in their space. And the one thing I'm seeing is, just like the universe is ever expanding, the outdoor industry is ever expanding. There's new companies being born every day. That's the exciting part of it. So what you want to do is do more of what you love in hunting and fishing in the great outdoors and share it with the world. Content. The world needs to hear your message. Okay, you may not believe you have a message to speak, but you do have a message out there, and the world needs to hear it, especially as it relates to the outdoors. Better ways they can hunt, better ways they can fish, newer products they can use, products they never heard of before that you're going to use, that you're going to help them learn how to be better fishermen, better hunters, better outdoors people overall, especially getting kids involved. And that's something that's really big with the digital age right now, is getting kids involved that want to be a part of something that's rich and something that's engaging and something that's relevant to world, where they don't have video games and everything else competing for their time. Just getting out in the outdoors. I also talk about getting sponsorships and pro staff perks and using what gear you love and sharing with others on how they can use it too. Very simple. All right, nothing fancy there. Start a full-time career in the outdoor world you love so much. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm working full-time in the outdoors industry. I don't cash a paycheck from the man. I don't have a regular job. I work on contract for a few people. But I have one thing that so many of you crave in life, and so many of you want, that are stuck in a regular job right now. I have my freedom. And I get to work from home. I get to do whatever I want to, whenever I want to. I do have a manager in a couple of different places that I report to, but they're not breathing over my shoulder. I do travel a lot, but it's traveling that I love. And I get to do this stuff full time, and I love every minute of it. You want to become a brand ambassador and create the content around the companies that support you. That's what this is all really about, is being a brand ambassador. And that's not saying being a shill and only promoting that products, that are good. I also want to say, a lot of times when you're getting into this stuff, you don't want to promote products that are not wholesome, that are not going to be really good, and you don't want to you want to have your integrity, obviously, journalism integrity, journalistic integrity, however you say it, but you want to have something that's going to be of value to somebody else. And if it sucks, if it's no good, if it's a piece of trash, no matter what company's sending it to you, you don't write anything about it. You just don't review it at all. That's the integrity that we have at Texas Fish and Game that I'm about. That's the integrity that I have as a personal writer. If I don't like it, I just don't review it. I don't write bad reviews, because that can get a lot of heat really quickly if you write bad reviews about companies' products and stuff without talking to them about it first and how they can make it better. So that's something that's very important. The good, the bad, and the ugly. This is the part that I always like to teach people about. Excuse me, I had to get a little water there. Um, the good, the bad, and the ugly of the outdoor industry. The good is that the industry keeps expanding and new companies and product lines are born every single day. That's the good news. There's companies that are sprouting and emerging all over the place. The industry continues to expand. It continues to be a plethora of different things that are coming into the market, things that are useful, things you might have never heard of before. One of the companies that comes to mind is Line Cutters. Line, L-I-N-E, Cutters is C-U-T-T-E-R-Z. And that's by my buddy Vance over there and his wife, Vance Ahorsky. And I've met Vance a couple of cases. I've got a schedule to meet him on my podcast here pretty soon and have him as a guest interview on my podcast. But Vance is just incredible. He came up with a thing that goes on your finger, just a little ring that goes in your finger, or he's got a flat top version that'll go on a flat surface. And basically, it cuts line. I mean, it's really simple, but the nice thing is you don't have to fumble with clippers or a knife or anything that could be dangerous or poke you or stab you or anything. It basically just cuts line on the fly with a little ring on your hand. It's fantastic. And so innovative companies like that are going to continue to come up. They're going to continue to need pro staff. They're going to continue to be needing ambassadors of that product to help them sell more and brand themselves. The bad news is that the sales fluctuate with politics, especially in the gun market. And that if you're not moving the needle for the company in some way, you're likely to be replaced by somebody that is. So a good example of this is a archery company that I worked with, and that is basically that they had a huge pro staff, and they were looking to add people like me that really had a heart and desire to do well for them. And they basically ended up flubbing the dub and saying, hey, we got to trim this pro staff, of people that aren't moving the needle for us. And it's tough, because if you're not showing somehow that you are of value to them and you're providing value to them, you're not going to last on the pro staff very long. You're not going to last on the actual sales team for long. Manufacturers reps are like that. Wide variety of pro staff teams are like that. If you're not moving the needle for the company in some way, you're likely to be replaced for somebody that is. And I replaced somebody that wasn't moving the needle back when I started working with this archery company. Shoot, I guess it's been about 9 or 10 years now. ago. I basically just came in and brought the heat. I brought what they were looking for, is somebody that would do some video, do some podcasts, do some articles, write, where people were watching, reading, and listening to my content, where people would basically be engaged with, this guy's got the best archery product in his eyes, and I need to go use that. That's what they're after. The ugly is that the outdoor realm is very fiercely competitive, guys, and lots of other people want a piece of the pie. Everybody wants to have their fingers in the pie. That's the crazy thing about the outdoor industry and what it's about. And man, I encourage you to just stick with it and fight the good fight, and stay in the game and play the game to win. Like I said earlier in the other video, that's wildly important. The point, you have to stand out from the crowd, and you have to be bold with your message. You play the game to win. And I just said that. I didn't even remember the slide coming up, but this is true. The whole point of all of this is that you've got to bring the best game that you've got to the table. And if you don't think you've got a game, you need to develop one. If you don't think that you have something to offer somebody, you do. You just have to show, and that doesn't mean, like I said earlier, you don't have to be a shill for a company. You don't have to sell your soul to the devil. You don't have to, go all in and say, this is the only thing to use because everything else is terrible, and you'd be stupid not to use this. You don't have to go that far. You just have to be bold with your message. You just have to be bold with getting out there and saying, this is the best that's worked for me. This is the best that I've done with this. These are the things that I've accomplished with this. And whether that be a product or a service or whatever the case may be, you've got to stand out from the crowd. You've got to be bold with your message. And that's one thing that I'm very, very, very particular about, where people ask me what my favorite broadhead is, what my favorite arrow is, what my favorite fishing rod is, and so on and so forth. And I've got my favorites, not to say that they're the only ones that are good, because that's a nice thing about what's happened with the outdoor industry lately, is that things are so good now, it's hard to beat when it comes to finding something that's trash, unless you go overseas somewhere and find something that's just absolute garbage. The bad stuff's been weeded out by the marketplace. That's what's fantastic about this day and time in the outdoor industry, is that you have so many good things to choose from, so many good places you can go. So I'll leave my preferences out of the game. I'm just kind of bringing to fruition what you can do to have your own brand and have your own message out there.